Hello, and welcome back to the Very Real Estate Effect podcast, a show dedicated to real estate investing right here in Quebec. So, welcome to the show. Hello to my wonderful co-host, Dino Orchard. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys?
You have a good weekend? All good?
Fantastic.
All right. Look, I'm excited today for our guest. Today, our guest is Yassir Ngar, who's a king at system and process optimizing and automating and all that stuff. And so today we're going to be talking about, well, what is it that real estate investors can automate and simplify? So Yassir, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much for receiving me.
All right. Well, look, it's a pleasure. So we've been introduced actually by Dino. You two have worked together before on an implementation, and you and I jumped on a call, and after like 10 or 15 minutes of talking, like at least I had another like aha moment of eye-opening of like, yeah, it's true. Like all this I could simplify and make it easier and stuff. And so I'm going to start with a general blanket statement, being that we, as real estate investors, there's a lot of repetitive tasks that we do, whether we're prospecting, whether we're operating, whichever facet of the real estate industry you're at. And now with technology, we can actually make the machine work for us, or simplify, or just delegate it to somebody else, or outright eliminate. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so, well, first of all, how in the world did you ever get started with systems and process optimizing?
To be honest, when I started, it was like a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
I was a financial advisor before, and then I realized that I could help people have better return on investment on their business by digital marketing agency. And then I was invited to do a conference in front of 30 entrepreneurs. And when I started my business after 6 months, I was looking at CRMs just because I'm really lazy. I'm trying to automate as much stuff as I can. And I was moving from Pipedrive, Salesforce, every CRM in there. And when I did this conference, everyone catched up about the CRM part and not the digital marketing part. Like that 1 hour generated me 6 clients in the next 3 months. And then I realized it was actually a business that I enjoyed. And from there, I went up, and I niched down in the real estate actually.
Okay. So then you just, sorry, go for it, Dino.
Yeah, no problem. So people must say, I'm like, a CRM, why do you need a CRM in real estate? Why do we need that? You said something key before, Axel, and it's all about the process, and we repeat always the same tasks. And I'll let Yassir go down explaining why the CRM, but the aha moment, you always get it once you spend an hour with Yassir and you're in real estate investor and you're like, oh my God, why didn't I not meet this guy in my life before? Just for looking for deals, just for renovations, for flips, for whatever you need in whatever segment you are in real estate, you need this guy, and he's going to tell you why.
Now I remember the first moment with you, when we mapped your process, and then you realized how much stuff you had in your head. Like business owners don't realize how much stuff they have in their head. And like that first step with me usually is a mind map. And then he's like, oh, damn, I know all this by heart. Like, and then you realize that was like a process for one transaction. But the real estate investor do multiple transactions all year long. How can you know in which step you are in each transaction? So that's what the CRM helps you do. So yeah, basically I can go like step by step. Axel, I don't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah, sure. So exactly. So I was going to say, let's start with the basis. So in order to make deals, find deals, you need to prospect. So how does it tie in with what you're doing? I mean, I see where you're going with the CRM. And CRM, before we use too many acronyms, can we define it, please?
Definitely. That's always something I would forget to do. CRM, customer relationship management. Basically, it's at the core of it, at the beginning, CRM is just like a database, like an Excel, where you have your contacts, your deals, opportunities, and you have specific information linked to that entity, basically. And if we enter more into the detail of it, like let's define a business, basically. What's a business? A business is an entity that has relationship with other people. So it needs communication. In real estate, specifically in Quebec, how do real estate investors communicate with owners to buy their real estate? They need to call or send a letter by their address. And the source usually here in Quebec is GLR, right? So what people do, like if we go step by step in all the courses that we show, so they go from GLR, they get the list, then they find the phone numbers because GLR don't have the phone numbers in them, they have only the addresses. And then once they find the phone number on white page, they put it in the Excel sheet, and then they do the calls and try to do the follow-up. That's like what most people do. But once you go...
Excel sheet, Axel, can you believe Excel sheet? We're in 2021, man.
I know. I know. I have quite a few Excel sheets on my computer right now. I know.
And and then you start calling them, and then you need to do follow-ups. And this is where the money is in the follow-ups. And that's what the CRM helps you do, is basically set up all your follow-ups in that in the system and make you remind all your tasks to do. But also it helps you not forget any documentation, any communication. We have multiple steps and multiple intervenants in the buying a house here. So we have the inspector, we have we can work with the real estate agent, we have the notary, and all this information is all repeatedly rewrote, and it's all systemized. So if we speak about what I do usually when I do this mind map, what I spot on is the repetitive communication. So, and how many of you rewrite the same kind of email all the time to your inspector with the same information, the address? Can you go speak with that person? Imagine you didn't have to rewrite this information more than once. Like once in one deal, once. You don't have to rewrite the address anymore. You don't have to rewrite the specific information about the house. You write it once, and any communication that you have to do afterward, it can be the l'offre d'achat, it can be the communication with the notary, with anyone. You don't have to write anything anymore because we use templates and we systemize it once, and that's it. Afterward, you can concentrate on the skill set, which is prospection, which is like growing professionally. That's what my goal is to help people work on their skill set that are not data entry. Human have skill set to develop, not data entry is not a skill set that you need to develop.
Yeah.
So sorry. So
go Axel. Go.
No, I was gonna say, let's go back to that process because I want to drill down a little bit. So, okay, we're talking about prospection. So, as you said, like people look for some GLR list, they give the list to someone, they make some calls, they put in an Excel spreadsheet and stuff. Just on that segment, what is it that could be put in place and that could be optimized to make it as seamless and efficient as possible?
Well, just that specific place, we can save a lot of time just by the research of phone numbers. You see, like we have the GLR list, we have the names, the address, and then usually what people do, real estate investor, hire a virtual assistant to go find those phone numbers, right? From just in there, we can save them half the time because we can run a little code on Python who will go look for the information in the white page and match the phone numbers in the Excel. So here we can usually have 50% of the phone numbers.
That's pretty good.
So right there, we save half of the time.
Yeah.
At that specific place.
Okay, and then what next?
And the next step, well, people do calls, so we can integrate the call center in the CRM, so we can have all the calls recorded, so it can help for training purposes and stats. So you can, once you have a team, once we have one person doing calls for you all the time, you can have specific stats about it. You can record, you can be able to help them to improve. Afterward, documentation. You need specific documentation for all those systems for getting in real estate. We can set up a system that is dummy proof. If someone is working for you and he just got in the real estate business, he doesn't know all the documentation that he needs. Well, we can put it that he cannot go to the next step before having all this specific documentation. We can put some locks in the system so the person who works for you don't make any mistakes.
I think it's a pretty good tool also for follow-up, because we've been saying it over and over and over. Real estate is a people's business. So when you try to buy a property off a seller, you have to create that relationship. And you said in the beginning, CRM, customer management relations, you're building a relationship with your seller. And the key is in the follow-up. And with the CRM, you're going to have all the information of that specific owner or property, I guess, the way you put it in the CRM, and you continue following up, and you have like all the steps, all the times you followed up with him. And I think it's more professional. I mean, he's going to say, well, this guy's following up every month, every week, every whatever. And you have every conversation you had with this seller in the system, and all documents, pictures, whatever. I don't know how you use your CRM, but so I think it's a great tool for follow-up, and follow-up is key when you're trying to buy or sell something.
And not losing information. The documents all in the same place also is something really important. You don't lose any of this information all in the deals. So the way it works, you really need to understand that a prospect is someone that you're trying to get to speak with. Then it becomes an opportunity once you spoke with and the person said yes to go to the next step. Once it's in the opportunity, this is where we put all the information about this opportunity. This is where we put the value of the house, the negotiated price, the specific information about the house that we're gonna reuse to send the offer afterward. And this is where also you'll have all your documents. So basically, once you have a team, once you have someone that's working for you, even before you have someone that's working for you, it helps you organize yourself. But once you have someone working for you, this is where the magic happens. Well, you can really manage your complete business by putting really less hours. Dino, for example, like he went from working 40, 50 hours to now working 5 hours a week in his business, because that's the goal of the CRM, is for you one day to work on your business and not in your business. And you can just make decisions with the reports. So you just have reports and they then take decisions. And this is where the magic can happen, and you can have multiple business like our friend Dino is actually making today.
I have to say, when we built the system and the processes and one of my businesses with the CRM, I mean, it was like day and night before I was involved in every step. And Yassir, with his processes, automated a lot of stuff, and some steps do not need a human interaction no more, because the system does it by itself. And in my processes, I need some signatures. I can even have some signatures done from the customer on the computer without scanning and, or fax or whatever, already in the system, and everything stays in the system in the customer's file. So it's going to cut by half, maybe 3/4 of the time you're going to spend in a process, and every step is going to be done on its own. So, I mean, I can't go without a CRM today. When you build a business or a new business or whatever type of business you are, I think you absolutely need a CRM to help you with your process and save some time.
Absolutely. And the thing is that I think that the CRM is mostly perceived as a sales tools, as a follow-up tools, marketing, and so on. But there's a lot more that you can do with it as a real estate investor. And could we take the next few minutes to actually kind of go through some of the features that could be added? It's not just like a database with names and stuff. Like what else could we do in there?
Definitely, the CRM by itself is just the database, but the value of it nowadays is the integration that you can do on it. So as I said, first the call center that you can integrate in it and have all your recording in it. The DocuSign, something like this that you can integrate in it, so you can have your signature automatically and have it in. Also, financial analysis. We can include calculate, like in Excel, we can include calculation fields. So it would make your calculation and verify that in your deal, you don't have to go to Excel and come back. All your deals will have their own calculation, and you can take a decision if this deal is good, yes or no, right on the CRM. So yeah, definitely, like it's the different integrations that you can add to it that makes it really, really valuable. And now we spoke a lot about real estate investors that are buying actively, but there's a lot of real estate that exists. Let's say, for example, you said when we spoke before we started the podcast, like there's Airbnb for an example, and I spoke with one client last week who was putting his Airbnbs, his chalets in multiple platforms, Airbnb, other platform, and he needed a system to centralize all this information and also to create inbound recurrent. So he put all the information for all the different platforms in his CRM, and now we're working from that CRM. We can use email tools that we can integrate to it, so we can have inbound email marketing basically.
Okay.
And this client is actually really smart, because what he does is he puts, when people goes to his Airbnbs, they need Wi-Fi, right? So what did he do? He put a form where he collects some information, their date of birth, those kind of information that he will have in his CRM. And then when people comes to their date of birth, well, he can send them an email, tell them, hey, you can have a discount. So you see, like all those big businesses that you see, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, like Facebook, they're all at that level where they automate those kind of things. Well, the central of all this is the CRM. So they're just more advanced and they've been using it before. But nowadays, what people need to understand is it's accessible to every entrepreneur. In 1995, when it just started, it was a big software. You need to have your own computer, your own server to implement it there. Now is a software as a service. You can pay $50 per user, $55 per user, and have a CRM to help you work with it. So even if you don't have the implementation by a professional, I would advise people to start working with it just to get used to the feel of working with it, and then grow their business.
Yeah. It's like installing a backbone into every business, right? As you said, like so many owners have it all in their head and they're like, yeah, I know how to do it. And then the moment they get sick or something happens, the business kind of dies. So that ensures continuity and really allows for, to delegate or to eliminate the tasks. You mentioned at the beginning, like the first thing to do is just to map it. And it's an exercise I've done in my previous life in the corporate world. And it's amazing how many tasks you actually don't think about that need to be done and how much is repetitive. And then once it's mapped, you're like, is this really necessary? Can we eliminate that? Can we get rid of this? Can we combine that? And so on. And so it's at that point that there's a lot of value creation.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't see it because you're in your day-to-day life. Even me, like I work better on the systems of my client than my own system, because you're too close to it. You don't see it. You're just like, yeah, I need to do this. Yes, I need to do this. And what my work do is like make you stop. Okay, we're doing all this. And then it's funny because I swear each time we finish the mind map, people are happy. They're like, I do all this, but without it, that's incredible. Imagine what I can do once I actually systemize all those stuff that I like. How much time will I have? And I need to say, okay, like the CRM is not the magical thing. There's the CRM and the people who work with the CRM and the leadership that you need to provide. If you have a team, you need to provide a good leadership and to manage that team. I've been looking at a lot of digital marketing gurus and stuff like this, and they're like, it's easy, you do that 6 steps and you're gonna be rich, 6 figures. But there's so many aspects of a business. There's the system, there's the HR, managing the people, and there's the day-to-day life, the project management life. So, like we were speaking about, Dino told me about it before, like there's a CRM, there's the accounting system that is linked to it, and there's the project management software. So for people who does a flip, for example, now we're going to that next step where we use the CRM to get the deal. Once we have that deal, now we need to create a project, which will be the flip project. And now we're at that level where we're systemizing the project management of a flip. And that's going to be next level. So imagine you have a systemized system, you're acquiring really, really fast, and you have a project management software that is systemized also with the communication at each step. And then you have a beautiful machine that is growing. So yeah, it's I'm excited for what I'm doing.
So just to continue on the flip, okay, so we identified a lead, we followed up. Eventually we're able to acquire the house from this owner. Now in the system we create a project. I mean, there's so many steps that need to go into a flip, right? So then the acquisition is just kind of the first step. Then you need to renovate, and then you actually need to resell it. So can you kind of break down what is it that we could do in the CRM in terms of the project management? Like, can we delegate tasks? Can we put timelines? Can we put defects and stuff? Like, how does it work? And why is it such an efficiency gain?
That's a really good question, Axel. Usually, like when I do this explanation, I like to share my screen, but I'll try to like do it really, really in a simpler way. Basically, as I said, the 3 tools, the main backbone of a business is CRM, accounting system, and project. Okay. What you need to understand is in the CRM, each time you have a new deal, you have a module that is account. Okay. So let's say you just got a new deal of you just bought a property, a 6plex in Montreal. You have an account for that for that 6plex in your CRM. Okay, that account is automatically linked to your accounting, and you have a project that is linked to your accounting and to the CRM. So the thing is, what you need to know is, in the project management software, you'll be able to have all your budgeting. You have all your expenses, all your stuff. It will reflect in your accounting, and it will reflect in your CRM. What you need to understand is that the CRM will help you just to be able to see this information in it without having to move to the project management software. And to be able to understand it, you really need to think of as a corporation, even if you're not a corporation at the corporation level yet, because those systems are made for a corporation to be working with, right? And departments and stuff like that. Even if you're a small business, you have to think as a corporation and start working this way so you don't lose this information.
Mm-hmm. You know what I like about this is we see more and more people starting to invest elsewhere, very far remotely. And I think with a system like this in place, you could be here in Canada and investing in Hawaii on a property and flipping it or renovating it. And with a solid process like that, and obviously parties have to use it properly and do all the steps, and you can see everything without being there. I mean, with the technologies today, you don't need to physically be there on your project looking at it go forward or fixing whatever needs to be fixed or finding a solution. You got everything live with the project. That's how I see it. Does that make sense? Yassir?
Definitely. You need one access, and anyone anywhere in the world can work for you. So for example, for me, I worked with people from Morocco, from Philippines, even from China. And they all working in my business in my time zone. And it was really amazing. And I've been able to work when I just came back from traveling, and I was able to manage my business at the same time. I went 6 weeks in Europe, and this is the beauty of having a system that is working very well for you. But as I said, it's not just the system, it's the skill set also that is really important, and the team team, the people who works in it are really, really important.
Okay. Just to continue and to put some names on this, I really want to build value for all of our listeners. What specifically, like what CRM would you recommend for people to use? Something maybe that's free or that's fairly affordable.
One that I recommend really, really often is Zoho One. It's literally like an ERP because basically they have a plan in Zoho One that is $55 per user per month, who give you not just the CRM, it gives you the CRM, the accounting software, project management software. You have literally everything, even social, so to help you manage your social medias. This is the best tool I recommend and the best value for your dollar that you can receive. Usually with all others, you probably heard about Salesforce, Pipedrive, Salesman. Those one are bigger ones, but as they're bigger, they allow themselves to charge higher for having less value. So it's really like less functionalities. They just have a better branding, I would say. But Zoho is like the second biggest, most used in the world. Salesforce is like 100 million user per month, and Zoho is at 51 million user per month. So this is like, it's a sure value.
And you said Zoho, it's spelled ZOHO.com? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for anyone interested, go check it out.
Definitely.
The thing is with these systems, they cost a lot of money. It's going to cost you to implement that depending on your type of business and whatever you need and all that. But it's at least going to be $10,000 to $20,000 to put in your business to implement it. But people are going to say 20 grand or 10 grand. It's a lot of money. But just remember what Yassir said in the beginning. I used to work 30 to 40 hours a week on one of my businesses. And since I have that implemented and there's almost no more human interaction in certain points of the transaction, I saved like 20 to 30 hours a week. So how much is that worth for you guys? So it's not really how much it's going to cost, but it's how much it's going to bring to the table or how much you're going to save. That's the way you should see it as an investor, to my opinion.
Definitely. If you can get one deal more in the year, it's paid way more than paid. And you're going to get way more than one deal more with a system that is really well done. And the value of your time is the most. That's what people like. Usually people are more like in the saving money, but they don't realize that their time has way more value than the money.
All right. And so lastly, where can people find out more about you, Yassir?
Well, you can go on my website, www.odayba.com, or you can go write to me directly on LinkedIn, Yassir, Yassir, space Ngar, Ngar.
Okay, and I'll make sure to put all those links in the show notes in the description.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Edsel.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, Yassir. This was great. Indeed, there's so much that can be automated to simplify our lives, and we really have to take advantage of all the available technology.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
We just got to do it. All right, for everyone listening, thank you very much for joining the show today. Please subscribe, send us some feedback, leave us some comments, give us some ideas of topics or people or guests you'd like to see. It always helps. And in the meantime, go and automate your business. Thank you very much and talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.